All right, this is part 6 of the 24-inch rebuild. So in this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the brakes off, we're gonna take the front derailleur, take the rear derailleur, and then the back brakes. Everything's gonna get run through the ultrasonic cleaner. So we're gonna start the ultrasonic cleaner in a clean state. So it's just water and a water-soluble degreaser. We'll show you how much dirt and grime's on all these components. While that's going on, what we'll also do is wipe down the frame and get it prepped for assembly, essentially. Alright, so these are what the parts look like off the bike. You could definitely see there's some dirt and grime in there. I could just go for a general cleaning. The brakes, you could see the same thing. Nice, they're just dusty. Some of them have a little bit of rust on the inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just hose them off so I could remove all the dirt that I can before putting in the ultrasonic cleaner, and then you'll see how good they look. Alright, so I went and rinsed everything off. You can see they're wet here. Still dirty. There's some dirt down in there. I'm trying to show it here. Comes off, but it's all that grime that's like deep in there that we really want to concentrate on. So that's why we're going to put in the ultrasonic cleaner. Again, it's just water and a water-soluble degreaser. Might have to run the rear by itself, but I'm going to turn it on here and let's see if we could see any grime come out. What we'll do is we'll wipe down the bike. So you can see the posts here are really dirty and grimy, so that's going to make the braking pretty hard. The one up front here was already rusty, which you could see on one of the brake arms, and then just in general the bike is dirty. So we'll wipe it down, get it all cleaned up and ready for assembly, take a look at the parts, put them back on, and then probably in the next video what we'll do is recable the derailleur, or the derailleurs and the brakes is what we'll probably do after that. Alright, all the parts came out of the ultrasonic cleaner, look pretty good. Nice even matte finish on the brakes. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier in one of the other videos, but the rear brakes are missing pads, so we'll have to put some spare ones on them. But overall, everything looks good. Not much we could do about that rust on the front derailleur. You could paint it if you really wanted to. But the springs, everything looks really good. So what we'll do is we'll put a very light layer of grease on it just to protect it. The jockey wheels, if you have a more expensive rear derailleur, it might actually have caged bearings. So typically you want to take the jockey wheels off before the ultrasonic cleaner, but in this case I know there's no bearing, it's just a little metal piece. They're still spinning fine. You could still take them off and put a little bit of grease if you want to, but just like with the front derailleur, what I'm going to try and do, I'll show you here, is get in there and put some grease or at least a little bit of protectant on the spring. So that'll give it more longevity and keep it running smoother. So I'll put the brake arms on right now. I'll save the derailleurs for the assembly piece. Alright, so we're going to put the front brakes back on. First thing we're going to want to do is add a little bit of grease here to the post. We'll do that on both sides. If they're really bad and really pitted, I've even gone as far as to resand them with a fine grit sandpaper. So not necessarily here, so I'm just going to add some grease. That grease is going to help it move around smoothly. Again, just like everything, protect it so this type of situation doesn't happen. You might be able to see it here. Let me turn the forks. There's 3 holes. These 3 holes are where the post itself here on the brake goes into, and that gives you the main adjustment for your tension. The other adjustment is going to be here with these screws, so this will be used to help move the pads very slightly in or out depending on how you need to do the adjusting. So main tension, fine-tuning tension, depending on how worn your spring is, you may have to put it on the highest setting just so you can actually get some good feedback on it. but in most cases just the middle option is fine. You may have to loosen the brake pad to get it onto whichever setting you're going onto. Typically you don't have to if it's the lowest or the middle, but typically for the top one you do. So I'm going to slide it on here. You can see that went on fine, smooth and fine. I think the tension should be okay. Other thing I'm going to do is I like to add just a little bit of grease here. You really want to put more like a Loctite. I like just putting the grease so that the next person that works on it can get them off. Honestly, never had any issues with this type of bike just because it's lower end bike. I'm going to tighten it down and torque it. Should be good to go. So I'll do the next side here. All right, so I got the other one put back on. Just going to show it here. Nice and springy. So we'll do the same thing to the back. Forgot to show you the ultrasonic cleaner water, so I'll do that right now too. And that'll probably be it for this video because the next one we'll start reassembling the bike. All right, back brakes are on, minus the brake pads that we'll have to put on. So looking pretty good. And then the actual water here as promised. This is the dirty, murky water that we ended with in the ultrasonic cleaner. Obviously we started with it being nice and clear. So put that back. So bike looks really nice overall. Next video we'll start the build. So we'll put the headset back together. We'll recable everything. Probably 2 or 3 more videos left. We'll also probably do one specifically on sizing the chain and putting it on. But yeah, making a lot of good progress.